Hello, everybody. So, for anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Lindsey Hall, and I am a divorce and intimacy coach. And I am really here to help people through the divorce phase of their life and really help people transform that pain into power and start embracing a life full of joy, pleasure, power, all of the good things. So I come on every week and I do these tea break chats live on Instagram, then share them on YouTube. And I talk, the first bit is about just life stuff that's been going on for me, challenges, lessons, whatever it is. And then the second part is answering your questions. So this week, I mean, you can probably hear it in my voice already. It's been a week. It's been a day. And so I guess I want to share the element of that being okay, first of all, the element of this is all part of, we are not just static humans all the time, or we feel the same thing all the time, or react to the same thing in the same way. This is, we are dynamic, messy, emotional humans, and that's part of the journey. And so making that okay, and to say the fact that it's been a tough couple of days, it's been a tough morning, all of that is okay. And that even though that's the case, even though we are messy, dynamic, emotional humans with the ups and downs, that doesn't mean that we don't get to come back to that core truth of us over and over again, which is, I got this. I'm powerful. I'm worthy. I get to have good things. I get to be loved. I get to love. I really am aligning with my soul gets to be the truth even when we're all over the place. And the thing I want to talk about this week in particular, so a bit of context, in case you haven't watched the last few weeks of these, which is fine, but also if you want to, they're all on my Instagram and my YouTube. But I've started a new job recently, which is 2.5 days a week, so half-time hours, to run alongside my coaching business. And it's brought with some changes, and then particularly it's brought up some stuff in me. And I've also then spent, so there's been logistical changes happening in the past couple of weeks. There's been just, things going on in my business and in my life. And I'm also 1 month post breakup, which is still not all that much. It still feels very fresh, very raw. So there's all of that going on in my head and my heart kind of constantly. And there's been a bit this week of starting to feel frustrated with myself that why am I struggling with this? And it snuck in of why is this difficult? You've done this work before. You are ready for this. Why are you finding this challenging? And luckily catching myself really quickly in that thought pattern and going, hang on, I know what's happening here. And rather than beating myself up for finding it challenging or feeling haven't we been here before, being able to go, yeah, I have, and therefore I know how to handle this. Hi, I'm so glad you saw this. I was a bit late today, so I'm glad that you found me live, Clara. So I think you're gonna really like today's, by the way. So I was saying that. So rather than beating myself up for all of that, I was going, yeah, you have been here before, and therefore you know what to do about this. And although it feels like you've been here before, I haven't, because every time I come across hard things in a new way, it's from a new way. It's from a new perspective. And this kind of growth work that we do, I'm going to just put a blanket umbrella, all of this inner work. It's definitely not this straight line trajectory of linear improvement and healing and growth. I wish it was. I really wish that it went like this, and you finished something and you'd finished it and it was on to the next. But it's not. Instead, all of this growth work is more like a spiral. It's a spiral going up and up and up and up. And so you might have noticed it from here, and then you're going to grow some more. And you might come back to the same sort of problem again here, but you are a level up, and you bring different energy and different perspective to it. And then you might go up again, and you're here's that thing again. But to see how it might look like the same problem, but you're approaching it from a whole new place every time you're doing all that growth. So this applies to where I've been this week. This applies to the work I do with my clients, loads. So for me, it's been stepping back into the world of accounting has brought with it some feelings of my old accounting job, which actually I've been able to step back and go, those things don't even apply to this job. That's just remnants of this old stuff that you had dealt with. This is like flashbacks of old situations and actually isn't relevant to this current situation. And being able to go, oh, okay, this is just like my body and my system is reverting to an old pattern that doesn't actually exist anymore. And it doesn't have to be my story anymore. And noticing that, but going, it's okay for those feelings to come up, and I'm going to do something differently with them this time. And like I said, this applies to the work I do with my clients as well, because when you have gone through a big breakup, when you've gone through a divorce, all of that, this stuff doesn't just go away. Like we heal the past stuff, and then we come across it again. And we heal that again, and then we come across it again. And it's part of the ongoing work. And like this week, I was talking to a client who was expressing her frustration with the fact that she thought she'd kind of moved through the coping with the loneliness and the like accepting that the divorce was over, that their marriage was over, and accepting the divorce and all of that. And then this week she was building a bed. She got a new bed and she was putting this bed together and suddenly found herself in floods of tears because why was she struggling to build this bed by herself when that's something that she, normally she would be doing with her husband and they would be doing it together. And this feeling of loneliness, this feeling of grief over the marriage, it all came flooding back just from building a freaking bed. And that's totally how this works. When she said that to me, I was not surprised in the slightest because that is exactly how this works, where we do it, we get through it, and then a new version will come up, a new layer will come up. So I worked with her on, first of all, having compassion for the fact that that came up again. And rather than being like annoyed that she was, feeling that sadness, it was like, oh no, this is part of the process. This is how it works. So first and foremost is always having compassion for your experience and not trying to make your experience wrong in any way, but going, yeah, okay, this is what's happening. And here's, meeting yourself in that moment where you're at. Then we looked at how to what layers of grief were still there, what layers of sadness were there, and moving through that piece of it and really just focusing on the fact that it is this layer by layer process. And by the time we finished that session, she was able to step back and go, yes, okay, it wasn't because there's anything wrong with me. It's not because I've not done the work right or that, I've made no progress. Instead, the wins there came from moving through that experience so much faster than before, moving through it with so much more compassion and being able to go, I have so much more awareness now that, yeah, I was sitting there crying while I was building this bed, but it didn't knock me off my feet for ages like it did at the very beginning. Instead, I was able to take these feelings to my coach and say, I'm feeling this, and we could unpack them together. And then she could move on with her week. She could spend her energy on something else rather than continuing to sit with this feeling. And that is where the beauty in this work comes from. That is where the beauty of working with a coach comes from, because you're able to move through things faster and free up your time and energy for far more fun things, which is exactly, like I said, what I've been doing this week too. I've been going, I'm noticing these reactions. I'm noticing this stuff coming up. And I have the skills and the tools to move through it faster. So it's not wrong that this stuff's coming up. It's not wrong that I randomly burst into tears yesterday, but it's noticing it faster and being able to move through it faster and going, okay, how do I give myself what I need in this, recognize that there's more healing to be done here, and continue to go on this growth journey. The other big thing, and I'm going to have to talk kind of fast here because I'm a bit late today, I'm going to have to go with my kids. But the other thing that's really been noticeable for me in this week with all of this growth is the way that we have, there's multiple parts of us. And actually, I use parts in a lot of different ways when I'm talking. What I mean here is that we've got our conscious mind, where, the thoughts that we know we're thinking. We have subconscious thoughts, which really underpin a lot of our ways of being, our behaviors, everything. And that's where a lot of coaching comes in, with the dealing with the subconscious thoughts, because that is where we hold so much of what runs the show. It's the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain, is happening in our subconscious. So loads of coaching work that I do and other people do is bringing those subconscious thoughts into light, changing those beliefs, rewiring them so that we can have, because we can affect that. So we can change those subconscious thoughts that were holding us back. But then the third piece that doesn't get talked about as much, and really was highlighted for me today, is that energy system work as well. Our bodies and our energy system hold so much, and this is separate from the subconscious thoughts part of it. So you've got conscious thoughts, subconscious thoughts, and then the energy work. And my energy system was holding so much about my past accounting and corporate world experience. So whereas with this new job, my conscious brain for weeks now has been really excited about this new job, has been really into, I've known how supportive it's going to be for my business, for me personally. My conscious brain has been totally on board. My subconscious thoughts, I've been doing a lot of mindset work around it. So I really feel like, although it's never perfect, but I've been doing a lot of mindset work around the subconscious beliefs of what does an accounting job mean for me in all these different ways. So I've done a lot of work around that. And then today I had an energy clearing session in this program that I'm in. I think I've mentioned it last week, 2 weeks ago. So I'm learning how to do this energy clearing work. And today the clearing was around sacrifice and how, and in our businesses and what that means. And I had so much energy released to do with my beliefs around what accounting work means in terms of sacrificing in my life. If I'm going to bring in money, what do I have to sacrifice to bring in that level of money? And stuff that I'd already worked through at a conscious level and at a subconscious level, but my energy system was still holding. It was actually this is the 8th energy clearing session we've done with different topics, and this had the biggest release. I was just in floods of tears during this session to release this stuck energy from my energy system that was holding me back in terms of what bringing in money means for how I feel. It was linked that was going to mean all kinds of bad things. So clearing that out of my system was so needed, and kind of the missing part that a lot of coaching work doesn't cover. And so being able to do this as part of my coaching work is, it changed everything how I felt today. It was very, very welcome. Side note, I will be bringing that into my coaching offerings in a couple months. I can't do it yet because I'm not quite qualified yet, but I will have a energy clearing certification in a matter of months, and then that will be brought to a coaching world near you. So yeah, stay tuned on that, but man, was it powerful for me today. Okay, conscious of time. I had a really good question today. And actually, maybe I was thinking that the question, as so often happens, does line up with what I've been experiencing. So hopefully you've already found this bit of it helpful. But the question that I've been asked is, how do you navigate challenging growth periods while still feeling motivated in life and business? Really feeling a bit of overwhelm in all this, and feeling like some procrastination is okay. It's a sign of overwhelm. And really, how do I lean into trusting the process in all of this one big question. And so yeah, what I want to reiterate is that the trusting the process, and I know how frustrating it is. I so hear you on that. And taking those deep breaths, coming back into yourself, checking in with that alignment with yourself and what you need. And really, this is what I'm saying about that spiral growth, and knowing that you're going to keep coming back to these same things. You're going to keep coming back to that. Am I not doing enough? Do I have to be doing in order to be valuable? Do I have to be producing something for people to think that I am worthy? Do I have to be constantly busy? And knowing that we get to go straight back to those foundations of going, That's not what proves my worthiness. That's not what proves my desiring or my deserving of love, of connection, of all of the things. I am enough always. And trusting that process, that, yeah, you are healing from a whole lot of burnout. That takes time. That really does take time. And it's an ongoing thing. It's, again, something that's coming up again for me and going, oh, I thought I was done with that, but turns out I'm not. And you're much fresher in this process in terms of leaving your job was only a matter of months ago. So there's still so much to work through, and trusting that all of this is going to come into, like, it's going to fall into place exactly when it needs to. Does that mean that you should just, spend the next 6 months not showering, laying on the couch, eating chips and ice cream, and like literally doing nothing? Not advised. No, it's probably not going to serve your highest self. But does it mean that, yeah, some procrastination is okay? Some slowing down, always more slowing down, is okay. Understanding that it's not about how much you get done, but it's about coming back into yourself and finding yourself, and trusting that those levels of motivation, as you call it, they come and they go, and that's okay and part of it. And just really being so gentle on yourself with all of this. Yes, there's a time for kick-ass aligned action and go, go, go. And you'll feel when that's time to like switch into that gear, and knowing that that can't last forever. I wish it could, because all of this would be so much freaking easier. Like, if I keep feeling like if I was just a machine, if I could just operate on this level all the time continuously and just continue to like get shit done and be absolutely like super productive and efficient and amazing, things would be so much easier. But we're not. We're messy, emotional, hormonal humans, and things go like this, and that's okay. So I guess the short version of that answer is just continuing to come back to, this is all okay. It's all part of the healing process, and that doing things at the pace that feels better for your nervous system is absolutely the right answer in the long run. It might be frustrating right now, but the more we can put down that frustration, focus really in on the gratitude we have for what we have right here and now. What is working right now? Where can I bring more pleasure into my body? Where can I bring more groundedness in, more slowness, more space within us? And trusting that that will then be the thing that leads to the next action and the next action and the next action at a pace that feels good for your nervous system. And knowing that when you come up across these things again, it's not because it's not working. It's not because you're doing it wrong. It's because that is part of this spiral growth process. As annoying as it is, it's the way it works. And then finally, just, really wanting you to know that you are not alone in this feeling by any means. And that the more we work through this, the more we hit that again and again and again, and the more that we go through this, the more we can hold, not only for ourselves, but for our clients too. So as I experience frustration of like, oh, here we go again, it gives me a chance to practice my tools, which I have built up this toolkit over many years and to continue to build. But I get to continuously go back into like, all right, let's sort through these tools and go, that's the tool I want to use here. And it gives me more experience and more capability to hold my clients through their stuff too. So really, the more that we experience this ourselves, the more connection it gives us for our clients, the more we can serve them. Nobody wants to work with a coach who is like, I don't know, I've never found it hard. I've never procrastinated on anything. I've never just burst out crying randomly. Like, as a client, you'd be like, well, you can't really help me then because you don't get it. Or you go, well, I must be the broken one here. It's not what we want. What we want is real human connection from people who have been there, who know how to move through it and can help us move through it. So just keep in mind that everything that you are experiencing goes into your experience bank. It goes into building you more and more and more and more, and is therefore ultimately able to help serve the people around us, to serve our clients more. So I always come back to that as well, like big time, when I'm like, oh, this is so hard. I'm like, this is going to help me in my business. It's going to help me in my business. It's going to help me serve and connect and really hold others up as well. So there's that. Okay, that's all I have time for today. I really hope that was helpful. If any of this resonates with you, or you're like, no, that was totally off, or like, oh my God, that was so me, let me know. These are called a tea break chat for a reason. I want to chat. I want to hear how things are going for you. I want to hear what it brought up, all the things. So send me a message. Also, I have some coaching spots available. So if you want to talk to me about coaching, we can absolutely jump on a call and talk about what kind of coaching support I can offer to you right now. I have both the Divorce Crucible, which is my divorce group support program, and I have one-to-one spots where we can customize the support that you need. So we can jump on a call to talk about those. Absolutely no pressure. But I'd like to be able to explain to you, like, what are your goals? What can I do? Do those things match? And are you going to get a lot of value from working with me? That's the whole point of those calls. And if you're not going to get a whole lot of value from working with me, that's fine. I can help you find somebody else, or you can say, not for me right now. That's okay. So if you want to get on a call to talk about all that, let me know. I can send you the booking link, or we can just chat in DMs. We got options. Okay, I'm rambling now at the end. Gonna go pick up my kids, and I will see you all back here at this time next week, Wednesday afternoon. And that's it, I guess. Okay, have a fabulous day, week, etc. Mwah.